So good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see you all. Thank you very much for giving me your precious time. Today, I want to talk about a very interesting subject, a subject that actually I think I can honestly say is on people's minds a lot of the time. Income, wealth, money, finances, that sort of thing. So raise your hand if you've ever been worried about money. And I've definitely been there. And now keep it up if you're ready to stop worrying and start creating. Obviously, a little bit of a trick question because I know what the answer will be, but just to make a point. Here's another trick question. If I gave you a choice between A, working really hard but with no guarantee of success, or following a proven formula that generates results when you apply it correctly, which would people choose? And I think the obvious is B. Okay. So today I want to talk to you about the science of getting rich. And I'm basing some of the talk, not all of it, on a wonderful book by Wallace D. Wattles. And he called it The Science of Getting Rich. Now, uh, during this presentation or talk, I'm hoping that by the end, you'll get a good understanding that wealth creation follows a natural law, natural process. I want you to become knowledgeable about the key principles of what I'm calling creative thought. And I want you to walk away from this with a practical daily framework that you can actually apply. And I would like you to feel empowered to take action. So this book is one of the most influential books ever written on wealth consciousness. Notice I'm using the word consciousness. Now, it was published in 1910. My God, over 100 years ago. So you might say to yourself, why are we looking at a book that's 100 years old? And the reason is the principles that he outlines are timeless, natural laws. They're not trendy techniques. They work today just as powerfully as they have ever done. Okay. This book has influenced some of the greatest teachers of our time in this area. If you've ever heard of Rhonda Byrne, who created The Secret, if you've ever heard of Bob Proctor, Bob Proctor studied this for over 50 years. This formed the basis of all of his teaching. Napoleon Hill, it influenced Napoleon Hill. It influenced many others. So getting rich is not about the environment you're in. It's not, and this is interesting, it's not about your talent. And quite frankly, I think we've all met people with very little talent who are very rich. Have we? I have. And so it's not about your talent. It's about getting the results you want or need by doing things in a certain way, a way that actually works. Okay. This guy, Wallace, he struggled financially for much of his life. And then he discovered these principles and he called it a science. And everything changed. Within a few years, he went from poverty to incredible wealth. And he wrote this book because he wanted to share what he learned so others would not have to struggle the way that he did. And what's remarkable about him is that he didn't just theorize, he lived these principles. His daughter, she later said that he practiced exactly what he preached every day. And the results speak for themselves. So he was not a philosopher, he was a practitioner. And that's what I want all of us here to become. He tested these ideas in his own life every single day. So this is not about mysticism. This is not about anything weird. This is about a science that you can apply to your life. Okay. So let's start by what might be his biggest statement. He said, you have a right to be rich. Very important that you have a right to be rich. Now, some people, when I tell them this, and I've been speaking about this for years, I came across this guy and I read his book when I was in my middle to late 20s, and it changed my life completely in relation to finances, income, and wealth, because I started applying things as soon as I learned them. I think I was about 27, 28 when I first came across him, right? And I've been teaching this for years, and when I teach this, sometimes people push back and they say things like, poverty is a noble thing. God loves the poor. Wanting to be wealthy is greedy. Rich people are crooks. You know, I've heard all of this, and none of it is true. Now, he is not saying that money is everything. He's saying that without sufficient resources, you cannot fully develop your own potential. And you can't serve others effectively. I mean, look, you've all been on an airplane and you know the routine. If the oxygen mask drops down and you have a child, who do you put the mask on first? The rule says you put it on yourself, because you cannot help anyone else if you are disabled. So if you are a coach, how can you help more people and help them consistently if you yourself are always worried about paying your bills? If you are a parent, how can you give your children massive opportunities in life if you are living in poverty? You can't. So this is not about greed. Please understand that. This is about growth. It's about stewardship. It's about having the resources to do the work that you're called to do. And again, you know, I've heard the saying, money is the root of all evil. Has anyone ever heard that? Hands up. Anyone? Money is the root of all evil? Yeah. That's not the saying. The actual correct saying in the book is the love of money is the root of all evil, not money. So big difference. You know, then people say, oh, rich people are greedy. Well, some are, but so are some poor people. Wealth reveals character. It doesn't create it. You see, I've always said that money is an accelerator. It will make you more of what you already are. Money will make a good man better and a bad man worse. So just remember that. It will make a good man better and a bad man worse. Other times people say, oh, spirituality isn't about focusing on money. You shouldn't focus on money. Well, let me help you here. True spirituality includes all aspects of life, which includes finances. So you have a right to be rich. Wealth allows you to fully develop. And this is about growth, not greed. Okay. So wealth is governed by exact laws. It's not about luck or chance or being in the right place or having special talents or even choosing the right business. It's all about following natural laws. Thinking in a certain way, acting in a certain way, creating, not competing. Okay. So what does he mean by that? We've seen this 100 times, 1,000, 1,000,000 times. If you give two people with exactly the same education, the same resources, the same opportunities, time and again, one will get rich, one won't. Why is that? It's because one is doing things in a certain way. So it's not about, and this is very important, it's not about talent, it's not about the right business, it's not about the right location. We all know people with less talent who are wealthier, people in terrible businesses who thrive, people in tiny small villages who become millionaires. Okay. So this is interesting now. He talks about that there is a substance out there in the universe. And he calls it a substance, a stuff. That there's, and I've always taught for years that you become what you think about most of the time, and where you focus your attention, that's where your energy goes. So it's the same sort of idea that the universe is one unit. And when we think, when we have ideas, when we have feelings, when we have emotions, we are sending these out into the world like a fisherman would have a fishing rod, and he flicks it out and you reel it in. And you attract to you, this is so important, you attract to you people, places, opportunities, and things that are consistent with your major dominant thoughts. So you attract to you people, places, opportunities, and things that are consistent with your major dominant thoughts. So you just have to ask yourself, what am I thinking? You have to be aware of that. So looking at what Wallace says, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state fills the whole of the universe. What does this mean? It means everything comes from one source, and your thoughts shape your reality. It also means, and I like this, you are connected to an infinite supply. Infinite supply. The universe is absolutely abundant. It has everything you need. There is no shortage in the universe. Okay. So your thoughts don't just happen in your mind. They create effects in the world. Very important to understand that. The thoughts in your mind create effects in the world. When you think with clarity, with focus, with belief, you impress your thoughts onto this substance in the universe, and it begins to take the shape of your thoughts. So you have to be, therefore, I keep saying, aware of what you're thinking, and make sure that you're thinking the correct thoughts. You need to be consistent, clear, and focused. So say that again. Your thoughts need to be consistent and clear and focused, like a laser. Right. So thought is creative power. How do we use it? Well, he gives us a number of steps. Number one, think crystal clearly, with crystal vision, about what you want. Try and take that thought and impress it deliberately, literally, deliberately send it out there. Believe in your heart that it will come. And act in the present moment. Don't live in the future. Okay. We need to take intelligent action. Now, here's what most people get it wrong. They think about what they want for 5 minutes and then spend the rest of the day thinking about what they don't want. Right? It doesn't work that way. They spend the rest of the day thinking about what they're worried about, what might go wrong. That is like planting a garden and pouring poison on it. And I deliberately use that analogy because it's powerful. It's like planting a garden and pouring poison on it. Your consistent dominant thoughts are what will create your reality, not your occasional thoughts. Right? Imagine you wanted to go to the gym and build some muscles, and you go to the gym once. You do a great workout, you feel good, and then you don't go back for a week. And then you go once more. Will you build huge muscles? No, of course not. Your thoughts work the same way. Consistency is more important than intensity. Okay. How many people here have tried positive thinking, because we've all heard about it, and then found it didn't work? Anyone? I've had that a few times, quite a few times in my life. Usually the reason is inconsistency. Okay. So, two ways of thinking: competitive mind or creative mind. A competitive mind believes, everyone is your enemy, you're against everyone. You believe in scarcity, that if you need something, you've got to take it from others. You've got to create a rivalry. You've got to create a conflict. The best man wins, all of that. And it's very limited thinking. A creative mind believes in complete abundance, in creating new value. They believe in cooperation and natural laws and unlimited possibilities. And a creative mind doesn't believe that someone else has to lose for you to win. Okay? And at the bottom, I've said, you need to get rid of the idea that there is a God that wants you to be poor. Okay. See, as long as you're, how can I put this? As long as you're thinking competitively, you're operating under the laws of competition. What does that mean? It means struggle, conflict, limitation. But when you change your mind and you shift to creative thinking, you operate under the laws of creation, which means flow, abundance, ease. Completely different. And you'll feel different. So you and I, we need to adopt a creative mind. Not as just a philosophy, but as a practical necessity. Because the competitive mind will always limit you, no matter how hard you work. Right? Think about, who can I give an example? I don't. Steve Jobs and Apple, maybe we've all heard of him and the company. They didn't try to make a cheaper version of existing computers. They didn't try and undercut their competition. They created something completely new called the iPhone. They didn't compete, they created. And they didn't take money from other companies, they created a completely new market. So, question for you all. In your own business life right now, where are you thinking competitively? Where are you worried about competition, scarcity, or not enough? Just notice it. Awareness is the first step to shifting. The first step. Okay. The law of gratitude. Gratitude draws the mind into touch with the source. It keeps you connected. It maintains a positive expectation. It attracts more for you to be grateful for, and it prevents negative thinking. So you and I should spend a little bit of time every day contemplating our blessings. Yeah. Gratitude is so important. It is the antidote to negative thinking. You cannot simultaneously be grateful and worried. It actually is impossible. Say that again. You cannot simultaneously be grateful and worried. So choose one. Okay. And what do we mean about gratitude? We don't just mean gratitude for what you've got now, but also gratitude for what is coming to you. So you should feel grateful in advance for your vision manifesting. I hope you understand what I mean about that. You feel grateful in advance for your vision manifesting. Okay. You know, you can think of some simple things you're grateful for right now, not big things. Maybe your morning coffee, which I'm very grateful for. I like my coffee. A kind word that someone said. Your health. Feel it. Now think of something you want that hasn't yet happened and feel grateful as if it is already on the way to you. I knew someone a while ago who started a daily gratitude practice, just 3 minutes before bed, writing down 3 things they were grateful for. It took them minutes, maybe not even minutes. Within 6 months, his entire life transformed. Not because gratitude magically created stuff, but because it shifted his focus, his energy, and his actions. And he started noticing opportunities that he would have missed before. Okay. So, see it before you have it. You must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You can't transmit an idea into the universe unless you have it yourself. You can't be vague. You must know exactly, that's why I've put it in capitals, exactly what you want. You must be able to see it in vivid detail, hold the image constantly, feel as if it is already yours. Vague desires produce vague results. Clarity creates reality. You know, if you want a house, what house? How many rooms? What style? Where is it? What does it look like from the street? What does it look like inside? How do you feel when you walk through the door? It must be crystal clear. If you want a certain income, what income? What is the exact number? What does that allow you to do? How does your day look like after you're earning that? You must see it so clearly that you could describe it to someone else in vivid detail. Why? Well, you can't create what you can't clearly conceive. Think about an architect. They don't start building and hope it works out. They create a detailed blueprint first. Your mental picture is your blueprint. And people change all the time. You know, one day they say, I want a beach house. Next day, I want a house in the mountains. Next, I want a house in the city. No, you must be clear and consistent and very specific. So pick your vision and hold it steady. When we finish this talk, I want you to do a little exercise, take 60 seconds, close your eyes, obviously not if you're driving, okay? Picture one specific thing you want and see it clearly. Notice the details. Feel what it's like to have it. Open your eyes. How clear was it? Okay. The power of purpose. Here's a subtle point, but an important one. We need to use our will to hold the vision, but not to force the outcomes. What does that mean? Your willpower is for keeping your mind focused. When doubt creeps in, and it will, I tell you now, it will, you will use your will to return to your vision. When appearances in life seem to be against what you want, you will use your will to keep believing. When you're tempted to worry about how it will happen, you will use your will to let go and trust the process. But do not use your will to force specific how, specific when. That's where most people get stuck. So form your vision, hold it with faith, and take inspired action, and let the universe sort the rest out. Okay. You know, imagine you're making a cake. Your job is to mix the right ingredients and put it in the oven at the right temperature, and then you wait. Your job is not to open the oven every 2 minutes to make sure it's going well. Okay? Okay, so action is essential. Do all that you can today and try and do each act in a successful way. Put your whole mind into the present action. The power of excellence. Don't wait for a big opportunity. Make every small little act you do, whatever you're doing in life, at home, at work, do every act as best you can. Treat everyone, this is so important, treat every person you meet with kindness and respect. Because what you put out comes back. And put your whole heart into your present work. When you do small things perfectly, larger opportunities will come. You know, I've had people say to me in companies, when I talked to them about this, and they said, well, I'm only going to do the bare minimum. If they want me to do more, they should pay me more. And I say, no. When you do more, they will pay you more. There's a big difference. When you step up and do more and become of more value, they will pay you more. So it's all about mindset. Where should you be? You can get rich in any business. So you don't have to move. You don't have to stay to say, I'm going to throw everything out. I'm going to resign. I'm going to move my job, my house, my career. No, you can make the most of your present position. Think about what you truly want. And just be aware of what's happening around you, because opportunities will start to appear. So don't change your circumstances, change your thinking, and your circumstances will follow. This comes back to you've heard the expression, the grass is always greener on the other side. People think, if I move town, if I move house, if I move country, my life will be so much better. It's not always the case, because you're bringing you with you. You're bringing your thoughts, your thinking. And I don't mean to be unkind with what I'm about to say next, but most people in life suffer from a disease. It's a disease I call stinking thinking. And most people need a checkup from the neck up. Okay? You can borrow that if you want. Just tell them where you got it. Okay. So make everyone feel better after meeting you. This is so important. When you meet people, make them feel better after they've left you. Add value in every transaction. Help other people to see their own potential. And start thinking of abundance, not scarcity. When you do that, you will become like a human magnet. People will start to become attracted to you. They will be drawn to you, and opportunities will come. We must always be moving forward, not living in the past. You know, Bruce Springsteen did a song years ago. Most of you have never heard of him. You're far too young. But called Glory Days. But living in the past. So many people live in the past. You know, so we must be thinking in the future. We must have the attitude of constant growth, always learning, moving towards your vision, radiating success. If you stop advancing, you will start to recede. There is no standing still. You know, people have often heard me say, I don't have a motor car. What I do have is a mobile university. Every time I drive somewhere, I don't usually listen to the radio much, now and again. I listen to audible books, tapes. In the old days, it used to be CDs. Nowadays, it's streaming. You know, so I listen to people who can enhance my knowledge, my understanding, my skills. What holds people back? Well, competitive thinking, that's a big one. Believing that there's not enough, seeing everyone else as a rival, that's a big sin. You need to stop doing that. It doesn't matter if everyone else is succeeding, so can you. It's not taking anything away from you. We need to stop talking about poverty, because when we talk about it, it becomes who we are. Words reinforce our thoughts. Negative thoughts attract more lack. Focus on your vision, not the current situation. So always focus on the vision, not what you're experiencing right now. Don't try and force outcomes, and don't doubt the process. I cannot say this strongly enough. The process works. I use affirmations a lot. Affirmations I found are very powerful to keep me thinking in the right way. So step by step. Number one, believe that the universe out there will create everything for you. Know that it will respond to your thoughts. So respond to thoughts. Then create a clear picture, form a really definite vision of what you want. Hold this vision in your mind, ongoing. Be very grateful. Act in the present moment with purpose. Try and do everything that you do, whether it's at work, at home, as successfully as you can. Give more value than you take. And always move forward in your mind. If you follow these steps with certainty, you'll get rich. You'll get what you want. So, to begin to sum things up, there is a science of getting rich. It is based on natural laws. Your thought is a creative power. We need to hold a clear vision with belief and faith. Practice gratitude. Act as efficiently as you can all the time. Give more than you take, and always be moving forward. Okay, so last two. Here's an idea. I'm not saying you have to do it, just an idea. In the morning, review your current mental picture, feel gratitude for what you have and for what's coming, and set an intention for the day. Throughout the day, maintain your vision. Use affirmations, use whatever you need. And then in the evening, review your day and reaffirm your vision with gratitude. So, immediate effects. If you start to do this, you'll begin to have, within a few days, a greater peace of mind. You'll find you've got more energy and purpose. Your relationships will improve, and opportunities will just start to appear. That will happen relatively quickly. A few days, a week, something like that, week and a half at the most. Long term, you'll start to achieve your vision. Your finances will start to improve bit by bit. You will find yourself, you are growing as a human being. You're becoming a different person. and becoming more fulfilled. And you will find that you have the ability to serve others, and you'll enjoy doing that. Now, timeline. The results vary, but with consistent application, it always produces results, always. So your next steps: write your clear vision in detail, read it every day, practice gratitude morning and evening. Pick one thing, just one thing that you can do with excellence today. This month, continue the daily practices. Keep your eyes, ears aware and open for opportunities, because they will start to appear and you'll have to take action. When they appear, you'll have to grab them and work on them. And over this year, watch your life transform. So don't wait for a change of the environment. Change you, and the environment will change. Remember, this is a science. I've written here, the grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. If you want to explore this in more detail, you could, of course, read his book. Other books that I highly recommend are Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, The Richest Man in Babylon, that's another one, Psycho-Cybernetics. These are some great books. Daily visualization, gratitude journaling, meditation on your vision, conscious action, and hang around with like-minded individuals. People will be your biggest asset or your biggest liability. People will either help you to grow, they will reinforce your positiveness, or they will try and suck it from you. So be aware who you are around. I do another completely different talk about the law of boundaries and who you should be around. So find like-minded individuals. This is why peer-to-peer groups are just so powerful in the world today. Powerful and necessary. Find your peer group and support others in their growth. So thank you for your attention. I'll stop the share, see if there's any questions. Okay. If anyone has any questions, Vali can unmute everyone. You can just put your hand up or put something in the chat.
Yeah. Well, it's actually not a question, but it's something that I would like to add if you give me 30 seconds, if that's okay. Yeah, like for as a practice that I've done for a long time is to have 3 plans, and each plan has a meaning, a purpose. One is gratitude, one is vision, and one is affirmation. And the gratitude thing is definitely something that completely changed my mind. It's something that I am, like I'm a grateful person, but it completely changed my mind. Just keeps you and brings you back to the present, and and then you start seeing and be more grateful about different things. That's why I recommend that book, which is a sequel of The Secret. It's called Magic. Highly recommended. It will really
thank you, Miguel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions? Anything they'd like me to go back over? No one cares. I understand. All right, everyone. Listen, it's lovely to see you all. Have a wonderful day, all of you. Care, everyone. And Aline, lovely to see you. I didn't see you there. Hi. My thoughts are with you, your family, and everyone.
Thank you so much.
Every day, my thoughts are with you.
Thank you.